Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. In today's video, I am going to showcase some new albums and movies that I bought recently anyways, and talk a little bit about that here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello, hope everybody's doing well here on a Wednesday evening. I just posted a video actually not too long ago, my deep dive on Steely Dan. Did that video, and I usually don't do two videos in one day, but I got some recent media stuff that I thought, I always like showing it off when I buy new stuff. Interesting, some I bought when I was in Europe, some I just bought this last week, and it's one I just bought today actually. I just got back from Europe a little over a week ago, and it's like I already bought some new stuff. It's like I can't help but buy. I'm always constantly looking for more movies and more albums to get and to add to my collection. I guess that's what part of being a collector is. You're never satisfied. You're always seeing something and going, man, I should save money, but it's like I really want that. So, but first, I'll go with the movies I got. I actually just got these on Amazon. They came in pretty quickly. I just got this a couple days ago. I went on there, bought some more movies that I've been wanting to add to my collection. And at some point, I want to do a list of like my 100 favorite movies. So I've been trying to get all the movies I think that could be on that list so I can watch them, the physical, Blu-ray DVD of it, and then have it showcased whenever I get to that video at some point in the future. But one of the ones I got, this is one of my favorite, this is probably my favorite romantic comedy of all time, 500 Days of Summer, starring Zooey Deschanel and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Really great. Those two are just really great, and they're really funny. And I saw this in the movie theater when it came out and just was blown away. It was just, this came out in 2009. It's a little while ago, and man, it was such a new idea kind of with the romantic comedy kind of concept, and it's such an interesting story in a way that it doesn't end like your usual romantic comedy, I guess you'd say, or it doesn't have the what you usually get out of a romantic comedy. And what makes it really cool is the use of editing. The story is told out of sequence on purpose, and they do such an amazing job of showing you that, because it's called 500 Days of Summer, which is there are 500. There's day one when they first meet, I think, and day 500 is a day that he finally moves on from the relationship. Anyways, that's basically why. And Summer is the name of Zooey Deschanel's character. So it's not a spoiler, but it's something you get at the very beginning. It's about the relationship, and at the very beginning you see them breaking up already, and so you see the breakup long before you see kind of other parts of the relationship. So it's kind of interesting how they do it all out of sequence, and you get everything in that way, and it actually makes it just more interesting. And also the director and writers are just brilliant how they showcase the different parts of a relationship, the parts where you feel great, parts where you're not feeling great, and then the sadness of going through a breakup. It does a really good job showcasing all that. And then you break up, and then you think maybe you'll get back together with them, and they showcase that part, and then it doesn't work out. And then they do some brilliant things, like they do this one scene where they show his expectations for this party and trying to get back together with Summer. And then right side by side, it showcases reality, what really happened at the party. So you get to see just brilliantly, how disappointed he is, because you see on the left side, oh, this is how he thought it was going to go. On the right side, this is how it actually went. And it's amazing, because that's exactly how we all deal with those situations. We all have in our mind, oh, this is the way I'm hoping it works out, and then it doesn't work out that way, and it's just crushing. It crushes your spirit, and you see that out of the character. And if anybody's been through a breakup, like I've been through many breakups, and they've crushed my spirit many times. And so it was a good movie to watch and go, yeah, I totally feel this character. For me, I was like, I am this character. I felt the way he's felt, anyways. And so they do a lot of what do you call it? Fourth wall breaks too as well, and and meta stuff. Anyway, so it's just a really brilliant way of you doing a romantic comedy in a different way. Anyways, and really works out. And yeah, I love this movie. Very, very funny movie. Really good performances. Next, I got a James Bond movie, For Your Eyes Only. Still trying to get all the, what I want to do is get all of Sean Connery movies and all Roger Moore's movies into my collection. Watch them all and do a ranking of all the Roger Moore, Sean Connery movies, because to me those are like the classic James Bond movies. Sean Connery and Roger Moore to me are like the ones I grew up watching as a kid on TV, and so I have a lot of special nostalgia for those two actors. So I'm trying to get all their movies. So this is another one I wanted to get on Blu-ray, For Your Eyes Only. I'm pretty close. I think I still got From Russia with Love to get, and Live and Let Die, I think, are maybe the only two I still have left. So I'm getting close to getting all of those. But really good. Actually, one of my favorite, again, I'll have to rewatch it and see how it goes. But actually, one of my favorite James Bond movies, one of my favorite of Roger Moore era. Yeah, really well done. And it has really cool Topol, who just died this last year. He was in my favorite movie, Fiddler on the Roof. Amazing movie, great musical. Topol's he's only done a couple movies. Like it's interesting. He doesn't do a lot of movies, and he's so good. He's more of a theater actor, but he was nominated for Best Actor for Fiddler on the Roof. So I mean, the guy can really act, and that was a great performance. So it's fun seeing Topol here as a kind of a small role, I guess you can say, and he's really good in the small role in James Bond. So that's what elevates it for me, is seeing him in here. Anyways, but yeah, definitely one to check out if you don't know a lot about James Bond. And this is, to me, like the last really good one from Roger Moore. It's like his fifth movie, and he really should have stopped at For Your Eyes Only, but then he ended up doing two more, which I think are probably two of his worst in his series. But then I got a childhood favorite, Jumanji, with Robin Williams, and yeah, I saw this in the theater back in the mid '90s. I think it came out, and I absolutely loved 1995. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But it came out in 1995. I saw it in the theater. I loved it then. Every time I watch it, I really love this movie. And Robin Williams gives a really good performance. And of course, he's always known for his comedy, and he does some comedy here, but he does actually good dramatic performance here as well. He does with a lot of dramatic moments and emotional moments in this movie. He does it really well. That's why I'm like, anytime I watch this, I'm like, man, Robin Williams is just one of my favorite actors of all time. He does a little movie like this. Maybe just people don't think about this movie that much. It's not considered one of his great, classics, but he puts in a really good performance here. You also have Bonnie, what's her name? Bonnie Hunt is really great. And then you have a young Kirsten Dunst in here, interesting. And David Alan Grier is so funny. I love David Alan Grier in the 90s was absolutely hilarious, and he's great in here. But the whole concept is great. It kind of has a fantasy concept to it. A board game coming to life, and this jungle is coming to the real world, and they have to figure out how to play. They have to beat the game so everything goes back. Yeah, great concept. Really well done. Great cast. The special effects don't work anymore. I remember last time I saw this movie, especially the monkeys. The monkeys looked terrible. Like at the time, this was during a time when, this is right after Jurassic Park, but we're still kind of young in getting CGI to look good on in movies. Like especially like Jurassic Park worked because they had a lot of actual physical effects in there along with the CGI, so it works. Here there's a lot of stuff like the monkeys, and a lot of animals are all CGI'd, and it looks awful. Like they just did not have it at the time. I think as a kid I thought it was kind of almost scary. There's kind of a scariness to the animals always trying to kill the humans that come out of the board game. And I remember at the time thinking it was like, oh wow, look at the CGI. Now I look at it and go, wow, this is really terrible CGI. But it still doesn't hurt the movie for me. I think there's some practical effects in here as well with the CGI that works really well. But it still works really well for me anyways, as a movie. Yeah, it's a really fun movie. Definitely gotta check this out. One of my favorite Robin Williams movies. The last movie I got is Road to Perdition, and I got the DVD. Usually I try to get the Blu-ray when nowadays I always go for the Blu-ray, of course, or if I can get a Steelbook, I want to get a Steelbook if I can get a Steelbook, but if not, I usually get the Blu-ray, and I don't care if it's 4K or not. To me, I don't have a 4K TV or whatever. But I don't know, this time I saw Road to Perdition. It was on for pretty cheap on Amazon on the DVD, so I was like, I'll just buy the DVD because it's so cheap anyways. And like you said, I'm trying to watch my budget somewhat, trying not to spend too much money, which is hard not to do when I'm trying to buy things like this. But yeah, so I went for the DVD. I'd rather have the Blu-ray, but still, I have some DVDs. I still collect them. Still works, I think. I actually just watched this on the plane coming back home from Germany. Of course, you get to pick what movies you want to watch. And I watched like 4 movies, and one of them was Road Perdition was on there. And it was a movie I hadn't seen in a while. I don't know why, I was just in the mood to watch Road Perdition. So I watched this on the plane over, and that's why I decided to buy it. So I was like, oh, I need to buy this movie. Really good gangster movie. And I'm not a big fan of gangster type movies, but this is really well done. Sam Mendes really does a good job here. Of course, Tom Hanks is my favorite actor of all time. And it's cool seeing him as a mafia hitman, which is a different role for Tom Hanks. He usually plays the the nice everyday man kind of role. That's what he's so good at. But it's cool seeing him do a little bit different character, but still likable, even though he's a murderer and all that. Paul Newman, I think this is his last role that he ever did, if I remember right. And great, he plays the mob boss. And he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this role, so that was really cool. Jude Law, great as another hitman. Also, you got Daniel Craig, James Bond himself, in kind of one of his earlier roles before he became James Bond. But yeah, really good gangster drama, Road to Perdition. All right, getting to some music. I bought 2 CDs when I was in the Czech Republic, when I was in Český Krumlov, which we spent like 4 days in. And I went by and we saw like a record store there. And I was like, oh, I got to go in and look at it and see if I can find anything. I didn't get any vinyl just because it'd be too hard. I don't know, because I have to put stuff in my bag and stuff. And it's just vinyl, it's kind of hard to store. So I went for some CDs because it'd be easier to store in my bag and bring back over to the United States. And when I was there, I was looking at, they had a lot of different, it's Czech language. So there a lot of Czech or German or whatever, another language stuff. And so I thought that was kind of cool. And I thought I need an album that's, Czech, that is Czech bands or Czech groups, something that I can bring back and put in my collection and say, I don't think anybody has this in their collection. And it makes my CD collection a little more unique. Like Breyer has like 1,000 CDs, and I'm like, at least he doesn't have this one. I got one that he doesn't have. One that I got is called Rockline 1970 and 1974, which is in English, the Rockline stuff. So there's some English there, and even some of the songs are in English here, but there's a lot of Czech songs in here. And because I asked the guy that was running the place, I said, I want to get, Czech, what is a Czech artist or a rock and roll band that I can get, be authentic Czech, and all that. If I'm in Czech, Czech Republic, I don't need to buy an American band. I can buy that here, but I'm thinking I want to buy something here that I don't see anywhere else anyways. But he pointed me to this, because I said I like rock music from the 70s, so he pointed this because it's 70, 74. Anyways, and I've listened to a lot of this. I haven't listened to all of it yet, but I've listened to some of it. It's pretty good rock music from the 70s, and a lot of it's in Czech, so I was like happy when I listened to it, and I go, okay, it's not in English, a lot of the stuff. There's some English songs in here, but most of it's not in English, so I was like, okay, that's why I wanted something different, But it's some pretty good music here. And I looked up some of them. The big one to me was, there's a band called Flamingo, which was a Czech rock band in the 70s. And I looked them up, and yeah, they were a Czech band and all that. And they had some pretty good stuff in here. That's probably some of my favorite stuff is from them. And I looked them up, and like they made one album and it did really well, but then they were under a communist government at the time. And so the communist government basically told them they couldn't make any more music because they're trying to get rid of anything that reminded them of Western culture, because they're trying to get away from the Western, non-communist countries, and just promote, communist stuff. And so I guess they thought rock and roll music was too Western or whatever. So rock and roll music was like banned basically in Czech Republic in the 70s. But they did come out with like one album, but then after that they had to quit, unfortunately. So it's kind of sad, but still some good stuff here anyway. So yeah, I need to listen to the whole album, but still I'm liking what I'm hearing from it, which is interesting because I don't know any of the music. The other thing I picked up was a more current Czech pop album, basically, called Top 20. You see, and it has a mixture of Czech and also some American pop artists in here anyways. And I listened to some of it, and so far it sounds pretty good. And the stuff I've been listening to is this Czech part, which is mostly what I bought it for, so I can, like I said, have something a little bit different and tell people, hey, I got this in my collection that nobody else has. But like Miley Cyrus is in here, Justin Bieber's in here. They got a song each, it looks like. Yeah, and some other people look like they might be married. Anyways, those are two ones I know the most. But everything else is Czech, so yeah, I need to listen to all that. All right, the big album, I just bought this today. I was in Walmart, and I can't help myself but go to the album section, the vinyl section, and see what vinyl they got. And they always have something that I really want. And I always have to go, should I buy it? Should I spend the money on it or not? Because I'm buying groceries and everything costs, so much money. And I know I shouldn't, but I don't know. I have a hard time saying no when I look at the vinyl section. Anyway, so I picked up Rumours from Fleetwood Mac, their album. Yeah, I'm not a big Fleetwood Mac person, but this definitely is a really good album. It has a lot of great songs on here. It's in my top 100 favorite albums list. Also, when we did our 50 Central album in the 1970s, I think Breyer put this on the list. It definitely should be. It was a huge hit. I mean, sold a ton of records, like one of the biggest selling records of all time. Won Album of the Year, I think, in like 1975, I want to say. No, 1977, okay. I know it beat Hotel California for Album of the Year. So absolutely huge album. It's one of those albums like I knew I had to get in my collection. It's like everybody that owns vinyl has this album, How can you not have this album? It's huge. It's one of the greatest. Like I said, I need to listen more Fleetwood Mac, but I mean, this definitely is like a greatest hits album because you got songs like Dreams is great, Don't Stop, Go Your Own Way, The Chain, You Make Loving Fun, Gold Dust Woman. I mean, like all hit songs. It's just crazy, but yeah, so I'm happy to get this, add it to my collection. Let's open it up a little bit. It has a lot of pictures. It's kind of cool. A lot of pictures of the band rehearsing or playing in concert. And so you fold this out. And the other side is all the lyrics. So I like that. And you got a picture of the band there. So yeah, I like how they did that. I love getting more pictures of the band in the album. And I like vinyl because you get big pictures compared to CDs. The album itself is a clear album, which every time I go to Walmart, I always get like an album that's not black, it's some other color. But yeah, so this is a clear vinyl of Rumours. I haven't listened to it yet, so I have to listen to it, and hopefully, of course, it should sound good. I think I have one other clear vinyl. I think my Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young So Far album is a clear vinyl, but it's always cool to get something different. Yeah, definitely will look forward to listening to that. Everything else. So yeah, so that's what I bought recently. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Have you listened or watched these movies or listened to the albums? Probably listened to Rumours, I'm sure everybody has, but yeah, tell me your thoughts on any of that. I'd love to read the comments, and just thank you to anybody watching this video. Thank you for liking it, and thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all so much, and I hope you have a good day.